anyone else, constantly check to make sure their alarm is set for the next morning?
Yep, a ridiculous amount of times every night. I even set multiple alarms because I can turn them off in my sleep some days. I do shift work, so whoever is on has to stay back until I get there, and it makes me feel so guilty. God, I wish I did this. I wake up late for shit all the time, and apparently I'm not traumatized enough by the experience to learn from it. I think it means you're someone who learns from your mistakes, not a crazy person. I left the gallon of milk on the counter overnight once, and the front door unlocked another night. I began a routine of checking the locks multiple times, making sure everything was in the fridge, that the lid was on the milk, that the fridge door was closed, and I even started checking to make sure the faucets were off, because it was a deep-rooted fear of wasting money by leaving things on or accidentally wasting a gallon of milk. I grew up poor, I'm now lower middle class. I started seeing a therapist, and I had checking and rechecking OCD and different types throughout my life. She advised me to just go to sleep. Don't check. Don't do it. It seems simple, but it was so hard. When I finally didn't check, everything was still fine in the morning. I hope that maybe you could try doing this. The worst thing to happen would be that you're a bit late and your boss didn't seem upset last time. I'm sure you've been very punctual since, so it wouldn't be the end of the world to be late one day if you forgot to set it.
Edit. For the door locking, check it once and go to bed. If it's a strong compulsion to recheck and you live with someone, ask them to check it for you. Better yet, take a photo on your phone and send it to yourself. I lived with my parents when I did this, so I could trust them to check it for me because I was a teenager.
I used to. Then I was seen for depression and anxiety. Got on meds and I never did that again.
Yes, I do this. But I know it's completely due to being too anxious and worrying too much about being late.
I have a suggestion. Use an Alexa/Google Home/whatever home assistant you may have in your home and ask it to set your alarm. It will repeat back to you that the alarm is set, and the feeling of physically asking the alarm to be set will be reassuring.
I absolutely do this. I check multiple times if the alarm is on, if I have some sound on, etc., like 2 to 3 times, then I go to the toilet before bed, then I check a 4th time, etc. I thought I was alone in this. I never forgot it my whole life, but oversleeping is a real fear. Mine set on repeat, and I still do this. Nope, I just set mine to repeat every day. Also, on my phone, under the clock on the home screen it tells me when my next alarm is set for, day, date and time, so every time I look at the time, I see the alarm.
Yep. I'll finally get comfy and think about it and have to check it again.
I do this while I sleep most of the times. Like I'll just wake up at 3 a.m.
Turn on my phone to see if the alarm is set.
Yes, it is. Back to sleep. Repeat in TWI hours. I just can't help it. And the worst part is I have some weirdly strong internal clock, and if I just think enough about waking up at a certain time, it'll happen even without an alarm. IDK, I might be a robot that would explain while I'm bad at CAPTCHA.
I check a few times a day. Usually before I go to bed as well.
This is not a question you were too afraid to ask. I always check a couple of times before going to sleep.
If it's an important meeting or a different time that I have to get up,
I set up additional alarms and then worry that I accidentally switched off other alarms. I once accidentally switched off the sound for my alarm and overslept.
Afterward I just went to work and nothing happened. I actually have more or less free, flexible working hours.
But I also still remember this. I've also sometimes been awake during the night and worried that I will oversleep or whatever and have to check my phone for time alarm, especially if I have to travel somewhere in early morning.
Man,
I hate that I'm stressed out about small things like this all the time. I envy people who have a bit more relaxed attitude to life. Yes, but I've never missed an alarm, I just do. Lately, Too Afraid to Ask has been, I have a random question. Yeah. For me it was my dad who traumatized me by constantly being late and needing hours to get up. Everywhere he went, we were late.
Be it school or anything else. So now I have 2 alarm clocks.
One with 7 alarms at 10 mn intervals. And I arrive everywhere 30 mn early. I ended up being canned at a warehouse job of mine because I overslept and was late too many times. Now a lot of Sunday nights I don't sleep at all out of anxiety that I'll oversleep it gets better
during the week, but man is it painful.
So I had trouble remembering if I locked my front door at night. Couldn't sleep well until I made sure. Now I dictate my action while I do it. I'm locking the door. I say it aloud and it helps me remember it. It sounds silly, but it has worked for me. I set my alarm. Good night. I have a whole routine of setting my alarms and checking if they're set. I always have a feeling it's some kind of OCD.
But nowadays this routine is a lot shorter than it used to be, so I'm not too worried and I always
wake up on time.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. TooAfraidToAsk is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.